Hello YouTube, this is the Atlanta puzzler here in the southern United States. I wanted to create this series here to show you guys how I personally use OnShape to design and 3D print my Twisty puzzles. If you're not familiar with OnShape, it's a CAD design tool just like SolidWorks and SketchUp, but I really like it because it's very easy to use and it is free as long as you're not using it professionally. You don't have to pay. And it's also deployed over the web. And what that means is you don't have to install anything. All you need is a browser like Chrome. And a lot of the heavy calculations are not done on your computer. They're done over the cloud. Basically, uh, when you're trying to process some very lengthy calculation, is just gonna request it from the server, and they have very capable machines in the cloud that can crunch numbers quickly, so nothing is happening in your computer. Anyways, to get started, this is the end goal of the series. You'll be able to design this Rubik's Cube 3 by 3. I modeled this after an actual Moyu 3 by 3 cube that I had. But the idea here is not for you to learn how to build a 3 by 3. You can just buy a 3 by 3. It's much better and cheaper. But this will be a great starting point for you to learn or to get into puzzle design so you can make your own custom puzzles and deal with puzzles that are way more involved. So to get started, just go to onshape.com. This is the page and you can read about the product, but you can just sign in, create an account. You can create an account, and if you have an account, you can just sign in. And when you land, you're gonna see a page like this, but you won't have any documents yet. And this will be the contents of your OnShape. You can also go public and look at work that other people are doing. There's plenty of stuff. You can also search. In fact, you can search for this very document here if you're curious. So, okay, let's see. To get started, you can go to create and create a document. But one thing that I would like you to do the very first time you sign up is go under your account here and go to preferences and set the defaults to whatever unit of measure you prefer. Personally, I like millimeters, degrees, and grams, and I like 2 decimal points unless I need to change them at the document level, but this will be my default. Um, you can now go to create and start a document, and I'm going to call this 3 by 3 cube. Okay, when you land very first time, you'll see a bunch of icons and you'll see 3 planes, front, top, and right. You can simply right click and hold the right click and move around, and that will help you rotate the screen. You can see it gets messy quickly. So whenever you get disoriented, there's this widget here. This says left. You click on it, it'll zoom into the left, or it'll center the screen at the left. You can press the arrows and you can go to the front. You can look at the top here. You can use the arrows on your keyboard as well, and so on. And you can also rotate. There's some options here with kind of um, perspective. You can enable it, disable it, and hide edges and other things. If you wheel up and down, you can zoom in and out. And if you press the wheel or the middle button, you can pan around the screen. So play with that a little bit until you get familiar with it and you'll be fine. Here on the left, you have the top, the front, and the right. And one thing nice about SketchUp is you don't have to hold Shift or Control to multi-click. You can keep clicking on things and it will select them at the same time, or you can click somewhere else and it'll clear it. Yeah, just click anywhere. else and it will clear it. And there's this little icon that looks like an eye, and as you click on it, you can show and hide different parts. Anyways, okay, so let's start with our cube design here. One thing I like to do is, for doing anything, is to create some axes. And I create the axis by clicking here in the sketch. And all the sketch is it's a two-dimensional diagram, basically, with lines and circles and other things that we can then take and rotate or revolve, I mean, and extrude and make 3D solids from it, or surfaces. So anyways, this first one, when you click on the sketch, you can rename it here. And I'm gonna call it sketch XY axes. And for the name here and under features, I like to use the present imperative form, as if you're issuing a command to OnShape, sketch me the XY axes. And it'll make sense as you make more parts. But anyways, it'll ask you to select a plane where you want to base the sketch on. And I chose the front plane. You can use the top or right, doesn't matter. But I'm just going to use the front. And I clicked here in the front to focus. And you can double click on the sketch itself and all the icons here change. And these are sketch specific icons. And I'm going to click here in the line icon. You can start drawing lines. But I'm going to click on this icon, the construction icon, because these lines are construction lines or guidelines. They're not actually going to be part of the design. They're just going to help you. They're dotted lines that will help you find your way around. Anyways, I'm going to hover here vertically, and you see it created a dotted orange line that goes through the center. I'm going to single click and drag at the bottom here, and single click again and created a vertical line. And then I'm going to press escape to stop drawing. I'm going to click this line again, and click again, then press escape. Actually, I forgot to click the construction line, so I'm going to single click it and click here again, and there you go. And I'm going to click OK, and now we have X and Y axes that we can use. In the next step, I'm going to click sketch again. I mean, we can use the same sketch, but I like to separate every sketch by responsibility, basically. And this is going to be, I'm going to call it sketch cube, because this sketch is going to be extruded to form the final cube. And then I'm going to click and select the plane again, the front plane. Double click on it, and I'm going to choose the rectangle icon here. There's two ways you can draw a rectangle: by corners or by center, and it doesn't matter, either work. In this case, I'm just going to use the center, and hover over the center until the icon looks like this icon here. This basically ensures that the center of your rectangle is the center of the design itself. And just single click and drag and just draw whatever, and single click again, and we have a rectangle. And now click escape so we can stop drawing rectangles. And what we want to do now is we want to constrain the sketch, because right now it can vary in many ways, right? You want to constrain it so that you limit its movement. I'm going to click on this horizontal edge and the vertical edge, and I'm going to press the equal constraint. And this basically, you're basically told it, make sure all my rectangles are squares. So now when you vary this, it's always a square. And it's centered in the design, which is good. And we just need to specify the edge length. Now, I can easily specify this and hard code a value here, but a better approach would be, I clicked the green button here to exit the sketch, and I'm gonna click this variable icon here, and I'm gonna, under name, I'm gonna write width, or let's say cube width. I like to capitalize the second letter here and do 57 and do OK. And this is just a variable, a parameter, because I want to make this design what they call a parametric design. Move this variable above the cube and double click on the sketch again. Choose any of the edges, it doesn't matter, and click on the dimension icon. Um, and select the edge, and now it's creating a dimension. You can place it anywhere you want. You can center it here, it doesn't matter. And now when you single click, you can specify a value, for example 80 millimeters, and it's going to resize the square. But remember now, if I ever want to vary the size of my square, I have to edit the sketch, and other sketches might need the same value, and I have to edit them all. It's going to be a nightmare. So instead of using 80, I'm just going to do pound cube width, which is the name of the variable I created here. Press enter, and now it's going to pull the value from here. And if I ever want to vary my design, I can just edit this value, and it's going to apply it to the rest of the system. Anyways, now we have a square, and our sketch is complete. We're ready to actually make a cube out of this. So single click on your sketch and click on this icon, extrude. And because we pre-selected the sketch, it already chose the sketch for us here. And let's rename it to extrude cube. Keep it at solid. Sometimes in the future we can go over what surfaces, and this would be new. These will make sense in the future. Now in this case, it's extruding the square by 25 millimeters this way towards the viewer basically, and we want it to be 57. But remember, the whole parametric design, whatever, I'm going to do pound cube width, which is going to pull the value from here. And basically you're telling it I want the length of my cube equal to whatever values in here. And blind here means make my extrude my square blindly fit by 57 millimeters. It doesn't matter if it collides in anything, but instead I like to use symmetric, and this means half of it will be in the positive direction and half in the negative. And then press OK, and we have a nice cube here that you can partition later into an actual functional Rubik's cube. Before I wrap up this part of the series, this particular video, I like to right click at the bottom here. There's parts. Any commands that you run here, they're going to yield the parts here at the bottom. I'm going to right click on it and rename it, and I'm going to call it cube. And one little nice touch I like to do also, do edit appearance. I don't like this color blue because all your generic pieces are going to have this color. So I like to choose any other color as long as it's not orange or yellow, because orange and yellow is the highlight color, which gets confusing. So just choose anything else. It don't matter. You don't have to do this step. Okay, and I like to click on this icon finally here, and this will show you the history of everything you've done in this document so far. Click here on create version, and I like to do version, do 0.1, I don't know, let's call it create initial cube. Again, present imperative, and do create, and here we go. Now we have that document that you can actually share this version with other documents. Okay, I'm going to stop this video here. I hope you found it informative. I hope this got you excited about using OnShape. I really encourage you to go to follow along with OnShape and create this cube and see for yourself. And if you have any questions, please leave me comments and I can answer them and I can help you. Thank you.